Hello everybody, vanburman here, and welcome to a follow-up video to my Introvert Genius Kickstarter project. Dubious project, even. Can I quickly start by saying that there's been a bit of a hoo-ha with Introvert Genius, and basically one of the other YouTubers who has done a similar thing to me on it, Introvert Genius, has seen his video and basically threatened him with claiming for defamation, apparently. Now, most of you may not know, or you might know, that I do have a degree in law. Well, technically business law, but that's because I did business modules. And we did touch on defamation during that. And, you know, from what is in his review, none of that actually would attribute to defamation. Defamation would be when, basically, when your reputation has been tarnished through a course of a lie, for example, if something wasn't true or it was a personal attack with no substance. Purely critiquing your Kickstarter campaign, however, that would not apply to defamation unless we'd said something on a personal level, which would of course decrease your standing in society. I personally haven't mentioned that in my video, and I'm pretty sure there's none of that in my fellow YouTubers' video either. So in terms of wanting to claim defamation, I think that it's an empty threat, and it's a bit of a sad thing to do, personally, in my opinion, that I believe. So yeah, I don't like that side of things personally. I think if you're gonna claim something like that, you need to know about it, and you also need to be able to prove that it's happened as well, because you can't actually claim anything where you haven't suffered any damage. You have to prove that you've suffered damage. So yeah, I mean, on that side of things, there's something that's annoyed me personally, but I just wanted to, that's not why I wanted to do the follow-up video. I just wanted to show people some of the facts that I've discovered from looking on his public profiles and the public domain. Everything was made public, available for me to find, for you to find, for my mother to find, although she sometimes struggles to use computers, but nevertheless she could potentially have found it. So, you know, I'm just going to go back to his Kickstarter campaign very quickly, because, you know, it is quite important to look at that, because, you know, this is the whole reason I did the projects, and I'll go through that at the end, but I just want to quickly go down to, I can't remember where this is in the actual Kickstarter campaign, but he's saying, for example, that about his computer not being of good enough quality. I know it's in here somewhere, because I said it on my video, but yeah. Okay, so his computer's not of sufficient quality to do what he wants to do. It takes him too long to render, too long to set up the stream and everything. I've not had any experience personally in doing a stream with consoles, you know, using a game capture card. So, you know, I've only done it on computer, which obviously the game is running on the computer, the same thing that's streaming it. But he also streams computer games as well. So that side of things I know about, and I'm just gonna show you the specifications his computer is currently, which is here. So he has a i5 3.2 GHz processor, which is quad core, and it's actually better than the one I currently have in my machine. A GTX 660, which is my old graphics card, and it is an amazing graphics card, by the way. It's probably the best value for money card on the market. Yeah, probably still is actually on the market, I would say. He's got 16 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM running at 1600 megahertz, which would be extremely useful with video editing and therefore rendering. And it probably would not take several hours, from what, you know, from my experience of editing and rendering videos using my 12 gigabytes of DDR3 mine's at 1333, I believe. So his should be slightly faster, and he has more memory. He's also got a more than sufficient hard drive running at 7200 RPM, and a capable enough monitor and accessories as well. You know, so as far as needing a new computer goes, this is a computer which everyone could use to record, upload to YouTube, do live streams for as long as he needs it. For as long as he needs to do it for. It doesn't need upgrading now. It doesn't need upgrading for probably another couple of years, depending on what games you want to do, obviously. I mean, for example, you wanted to do Witcher 3 and things like that when it comes out. I'm not sure whether you would be able to do that, because I'm not sure of the specs, but it probably will be quite high. I've seen it. It looks amazing. That's off topic, though. So I just wanted to bring that to light about the project. And he also says here that this is the times he's going to stream. I've been on his Twitch during 2 of the times when he's meant to be streaming, and he wasn't streaming. He did say that they are the minimum times, but weeks can vary. And he also says that obviously unexpected appointments would mean that he wouldn't be able to, which I can understand, which is fair enough. But once again, I haven't seen him stream on 2 of the times he said that he will stream minimum these times, of course. So yeah, he does also have a donation on his Twitch where you can donate money and potentially buy games for him over Steam as well. Nothing wrong with that if you're on Twitch giving your. I think it's only okay. I mean, obviously I don't know. I personally think it's only okay on Twitch if your fans ask for it rather than you giving it to them straight away. I think it definitely should be something which people ask you for because it's something that they want to contribute. So for me, I would reckon that would be the best way of going about doing it. So, yeah. He also, apparently, he doesn't have a capture card, he doesn't have a camera. However, I'm not suggesting anything, of course, at all. I have, once again, looked on his public profile, which now we're on his Instagram, of course. This is perfectly fine, perfectly okay, it's in the public domain, I can review this freely, there's no restrictions on his account. It's not defamation. There's no personal attack on you. In this picture here, which I believe is a fairly recent picture, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Which is actually when he bought Deadpool, apparently. You can see here that there is, I believe this is the game capture card or device. So, or something like that. I honestly don't know how it works, but I believe that that's the thing that you need in order to get the footage onto the computer, or one part of it, which he does seem to possess. That's just from the thing, the footage that I have. Here he's filming a video, which is just screenshots of games. I presume this is games that he owns that he's planning on doing recordings of. But as you'll be able to see here at the end when the screen goes black, he is in fact holding a camcorder, and I believe this is in HD as well. So, as you know, most camcorders you can convert to be able to use them as a camera to, as like a webcam type thing for your computer. So, I'm not suggesting anything once again, but it does look like he already has that equipment. So, he says that he has no money for games as well. Unfortunately, there's another picture on his Instagram where he's gone out and bought Battlefield 4 for PS4 and Deadpool for PS3 2 weeks ago. So, roughly a week before the Kickstarter went up. Unfortunately, there's evidence there to say that some parts of the Kickstarter may not be true. It is really for you to decide. I'm just giving you the information out there, showing you the Kickstarter, and just, I don't need to give my opinion on it. These are just the things that I found doing my review of the Kickstarter, and pretty much a review of his Twitch as well, I guess, in general. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch any, as I mentioned before. So, yeah, it would have been nice to watch and see how he does it, because, I don't know, I'd just like to see how that hardware performs. I can imagine it performs pretty much the same as mine, which is actually very good, considering the price. I'd say he's got a fairly well-balanced computer, to be honest. Anyway, that's enough about that. Scott, which I believe is your name, if you are watching and you're upset in any way about this video, because I am going to share it with you on your Introvert Genius Facebook page, so you can have a look at it, and maybe it might give you some feedback on how to improve your Kickstarter, or maybe then you'll realise that it probably is time to take it down. It would be my opinion on it, personally. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm not telling other people not to pledge. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, given everything that can be found out, it probably should be reviewed at least. Now, going off that topic, or it's sort of on that topic, but I just wanted to quickly talk about the series in general. I really don't want to have to do follow-up videos unless, I make a mistake. For example, like a game does really well that I happen to say is a dubious project and it gets funded. That's fair enough. I mean, that's fine. If that happens, then I'm more than happy to wear a hat, take it off, and then eat it. Oh dear, set myself up for a fall there. But anyway, it really does. The way the series was meant to be is pretty much epitomised by the first episode. The Menaced was obviously a joke, and Bit Defense, while it's not something it's not something that you would look at it and think, there's no way I'm going to pledge to that. It was the fact that the Kickstarter wasn't done well enough, and that was the main point of the video. It wasn't that it was a bad idea, a bad game. It was that the Kickstarter project wasn't good. And it wasn't good because the goal was too high, the aspirations were too high. If they toned it down and asked for, a couple £100 to license what they need to license and all that stuff, then to get it done, then yeah, fair enough. That would be brilliant. I would have no problem with that at all. But then, you do get the projects like Introvert Gamer who want $1,750 and yet look like already have equipment that is needed. So, yeah, there's varying degrees of what makes a dubious project. It's not a terrible product that's being done in the Kickstarter. It's not a terrible game necessarily. It's the fact that the Kickstarter campaign is not right. It's not suitable for the situation. That is basically what it's about. Sometimes we get funny ones, and sometimes we get ones which they show you no gameplay at all, anything like that. Then you've got to say that the project might not be real, for example. The game might not really be real, and it might just be something to try and get money out of people on Kickstarter. And unfortunately, some projects like that have, lowered the name of Kickstarter and therefore lowered, legitimate people's projects, lowered people's trust in them. And that is a shame, and that shouldn't happen. I know I'm running a project on Kickstarter, and if people were put off by doing it that way, then I can totally understand why. I mean, I've been gone through looking at projects, and I can understand why people would be skeptical about donating. That's why after the Kickstarter campaign there will be an option still to donate. Well, I say donate, pre-order the game. It's going to be more, so people will be able to pledge to buy the game early. And that will be not as a sort of donation, as I say, pre-order. But there'll be updates, and people can actually see the updates of the game as it's going on. But once again, story for another day. And I've gone on for too long now. I'm really tired, mainly because all this stuff just happened as soon as I got back, and I don't know, when I get the urge to make a video, if I don't make it straight away, then I feel as though I lose a bit of momentum. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hopefully this has helped you understand the series better, and also helped you understand, that if you are thinking about backing a project on Kickstarter, this is really important. Check out the extra links, check out what they need the money for, see if they do actually need the money for it, because it's really easy to say you need the money for something when really you don't. I mean, I've seen people who are making Kickstarter projects who have already bought the software and are asking for people to pay for the software. That sort of thing is not good, quite frankly. And just trying to get money back on something they've already bought. So, yeah, just something to think about, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.